Now, chances are they might just try to go for something a little bit more basic in the early rounds. Try and put some pressure onto Liquid, maybe force a few slip-ups, but Grim ready and waiting. However, the trades, Vince, pretty damn fast coming out from Triumph.
That's impressive. The Glock work is on point. Post-plant comings up, and Naf and Fallen, the last two players left alive. They'll be feeling very good about that outcome, and if they can take down Fallen in the process, that would be the cherry on top. But it seems like they're going to bypass him and head to the T-spawn instead.
Through different players into the roster is just having people who are basically going to follow his directions to a T, and they're just 3 times in a row, or at least it seems. Maybe a little bit of bait thrown in by the in-game leader. Now he is going to give his life away, and the rest of the roster are a little bit further behind, but it could have just been an idea to try and pull some rotations. It seems so that they're going in a lot looser instead, almost in waves, 2 by 2. Unfortunately, this time they're not screaming hurrah.
Yeah, this time they're probably...
That's a niche joke.
They're probably going to be pretty disappointed with the outcome. And, you know, we were just building up about this idea of Sheikh Zula making calls and them sticking to it, pushing through together as a cohesive unit. As you said, they were just trickling in. It was one by one, conga lining to death, basically. They get punished, and Liquid, they scraped together a very poor buy. They didn't even fully invest into this. And it's looking very likely they come out ahead and not just win, but keep 4 players alive, trade up to a bunch of AK-47s, and now they are in fantastic shape.
For a CT side, 3 AK-47s, and AWP picked up for Fallen. Stewie will be left on the M4, but well, you've boosted Liquid's economy on the CT side of Nuke. I don't think that's going to be helping yourselves out anytime soon. Now, at least they do have enough money that in the next round they'll be able to purchase, but I even want to see them drop a player or 2 here. Like, make things a bit more costly, force a few rebuys so that the economy of Liquid isn't just going to be booming.
Yeah, exactly. It got propelled significantly, but maybe they can bring back a few casualties, or perhaps not. They run into a stacked up A site, and Elysian Grim lay down the law. It all falls to Cooper. Had some very impressive performances yesterday, but the opposition AWP have fallen. Yeah, I'm going to be very curious to see if they hit A lot going forward into the latter stages of this half, especially with a lot of rifles in play, because Maui talked about Sheikh Zula seeing some weaknesses. We'll get back onto that point in a second, because Fallen showing no weakness on ramp alongside Naf. The bomb's been dropped down, and there's already a rotation as well. Elige is getting around the back, but he won't even be called upon because Grim sprays them both down. And I really hope, Tom, that the weakness that Sheikh Zula spotted is an A site, clearly allowing this to come into the first pick for a reason. They tried a run boost, didn't quite work out, but actually Fallen misses the shot anyway before will be peeked out from Elige. And although there is a casualty in the form of Stewie, it looks like he may be the only Liquid player that has been doused down, with Grim picking up the pieces. 4 rounds in a row now to the firm favourites. That respect needs to be earned from Triumph for the time being, as Elige goes in for the peak, but Sheikh Zula, the man that you highlighted, not just an IGL, but is one of their stronger players in terms of firepower, showing again. Naf downstairs waiting for this B hit, as is Stewie, but the timing is off. Gets caught in the vent. Sheikh Zula gets his second entry. 2 players already down here. Fallen now joining Naf on the approach, looking towards control room. Flash will be followed up momentarily. Actually hasn't been tossed out until it's too late. The bomb gets dropped down. Should have tossed in from Connector. And now the double spray from Grim, but he can only get 1. Fallen's position is so brutal with the AWP. I would be amazed if he gets more than 1 kill from this spot. Now, he may get the element of surprise. There's the first, but now they know exactly where he is. And although Viz is low on 2 HP, he does have Sheikh Zula alongside him. Time, though, is beginning to become a bit of an issue. They still need to get this bomb picked up. They still need to get it planted down. And it will take a few seconds to get the bomb planted, which allows Fallen an opportunity. The grenade's finished off Sheikh Zula, and now Viz on 2 HP is all that stands. Is the legendary Brazilian AWP going to clutch it? No. Viz takes his head off, but that was so much closer than it needed to be, Tom.
He's been able to find them opening picks, direct the rest of the team to almost just patiently wait for him to make the move, and, well, literally following his lead.
They go in again, barraging onto A site, some excellent utility in the form of flashes, but now Liquid beginning to just rise to the top again. Naf making moves, Fallen already 11 frags to his name, pop flashing out, wants to go in for a peek. B-Wills may have him dead to rights, but misses his shots, and now in comes Naf. The flank is good, and Liquid just about hold on and pick up a 5th. So early doors, Liquid do take the advantage, but we've seen them get the opening pick and let round slip away. Naf, timing nearly works against him. Flash up and over. He'll be calling for some help, but it's Elige that's on point. Spray is good for one. Can't quite get a second, but weakens up Viz. And Naf will pick up the pieces. Fallen goes in for the penultimate frag of the round. You'd have to assume that Cynic is living on borrowed time, and Naf has collected. Liquid regain the lead again on Sheikh Zula. They don't have that. In actual fact, they're about to get pressured by Elige, who spots the player out in the open, and Sheikh Zula has been put down. Now, Elise Triumph have successfully managed to vent dive down, but Naf is here to try and repel them.
He won't be able to do anything to deny the plant. In fact, the Molotov is going to force him back completely. Good peek as well from Cooper. Denies the wraparound from Elige and gives them a lot more space, because that was the main issue they had here. They were stuck between Elige and the remaining members of Liquid. Now, they can play their afterplants fairly safe. They're still going to be watching in case there's a second player flanking, but the fact is, they're all coming in from the ramp. Stewie, though, well, he doubles up his kills. He's finally found a second one, and that's the start of everything crumbling, it seems. But Viz, he's trying to cling on, and he's found himself a second already. The defuse has to begin. It's a bait, trying to get him to peak, and Viz has not fallen for it. He will eventually go down, but the time has gone. He will win a round for Triumph, and they will cling on to their sixth. Yeah, we go straight back to aggression. It's been relatively successful. Pace change as well from Triumph. Grim will be able to dominate the first, but the trade's in thick and fast. He does, however, have some support in the form of Naf. Actually, they're going to continue this push again, the vent dive. It seems to be a big part of the game plan at the moment for Triumph. Again, financially wrecked by the last round, but they are still going to get a bomb plant, and they are still going to get an after plant situation as well, where it seems like Liquid have definitely had some struggles.
This time, though, Mac 10 in one of the hands, and they're already dropping Galil alongside it. Sheikh Zula makes his Mac 10 sing, but still a player advantage for Liquids. They do have a kit. They've got a few flashbangs. And they're rapidly moving into position. B-Wills allows the first player to cross, but Elige puts him down. And now Sheikh Zula tagged down to 30 with just a Mac 10. Sprays in for the first, but that will be all he can get. A lot of disappointment on his face, but let's be honest, with the Mac 10 in that kind of position, he did as good as he could have. Eye-gelling ability that he's got a team together again that is at least standing and trading off very respectively against one of the better teams in the world, and certainly over on NA.
This round, at least, is a throwaway. Absolutely nothing invested. Sheikh Zula, the only time he goes in last, and Grim maybe get a little bit of extra practice in under Fallen's in-game leading, changing up some of their strategies a bit, but they're definitely being pressured here. Elige, though, his outside dominance has been something to fear, just taking fights out in the open. He stood in no man's land, and he's surviving. Just about, at least, on 22 HP, and almost takes down B-Wills. Even still, though, he's done more than enough. Cynic left 1 versus 3, but he quickly gets 2 back. And somehow, it's now him versus Naf. By the looks of it, it'll only be the footsteps that give things away. The door opened is actually Bay. He's going to catch out Naf. That is genius from Cynic, playing him like a fool. He will bring a 7th round onto the board for Triumph.
Well, we expect to see Stewie have a much better performance in this half, where he can be leading the charge a little bit more and getting back to the Stewie of old. But if they do concede this pistol, things are going to get a bit interesting. Goes out first to fall, and Elige just about holds on to his life, but now B-Wills from above will be raining down pain alongside Cynic. We'll have a bit of inspiration from his 1v3 to close out the first half, but now it will fall down to a 2-on-2. The HP certainly favoring the CTs, but you can't write Elige and Fallen off, especially as Elige has the USP. The two of them dip down onto the B side, where Sheikh Zula's waiting for them on the cross. He doesn't even need to hit a headshot, just a bullet anywhere on Fallen, and he's a goner. But Fallen decides to actually push all the way around to the left-hand side. This may catch Sheikh Zula off guard. He may not anticipate this. So 55 seconds to play with, and although Fallen knows one player's on ramp, it's all about that second player. He has no idea where Cynic currently resides.
To win it seems like an impossibility, although if they just bypass his eye, I think Sheikh Zula must have seen him, surely, right? Yeah, he smoked things off. He's going to make his way on towards the bomb and just start that defusal. Cynic now there to hold things off, and scoreline, Vince, is equal.
And Cooper is watching with the scout outside. Hasn't seen too much just yet, so can't give any intel across to his teammates.
Got to be careful, as it would have been one hell of a flick if he managed to land it, but Liege continues. What? He got a second and a third? That second kill didn't even register in my brain. I was like, oh, he just tapped a bullet, but there's someone dead in the kill feed. This man is truly ridiculous, and while he's one of the reasons I even feel like this game has been close. Sure, as you mentioned, there's been plenty of players fragging, but if you face off against someone who's just going to tap heads like that, it just seems impossible to do anything. And yeah, I really want to see that second kill slowed, because as I said, the first time, I didn't even realize it happened. Like, that was such a ridiculous shot from Elige that could have been retrieved as well, so that's something. It's that. I didn't hit that down. I meant to even see that, Vince. How can I keep up with that?
That's just disgusting, isn't it?
Force a few players to rotate, the rest of the team trying to sneak their way out. In fact, it might have got a little bit further than the CTs actually expected. Cooper, though, nice shot to kick things off. And actually, there's a couple of trades in the mix. Cooper, with another headshot from the scout, has made this one interesting. Grim, only on a Mac 10, but I imagine there's rifles to be had. But more importantly, he wants to get that bomb down.
He also has a leash. A man that has definitely turned it up a few gears these last few rounds, and he's gone in for more. They expect a double player stack. They would have heard footsteps, but they also know that main is a real issue. They've dealt with Cooper. He was already low in the previous exchange, and now Sheikh Zula with a Desert Eagle by his side has got to try and carve out a path towards a clutch, and he's pulled off a beautiful shot onto a leash, but he's been tagged down so heavily, and the Mac 10 with the maneuverability behind it will prove to be that bridge too far. Liquid pick up a 10th round. This is an integral moment in the map. It could very well sway heavily in favor of Liquid if they convincingly pick this one up and they walk straight out of the squeaky door. Stewie gets one, is nullified afterwards, but Grim instantly there to eviscerate, as is Fallen. And they have completely lopsided and taken this A site with style. A leash, a beautiful one tap onto Viz. He loses his life, but the damage has been done. There's not really much that Cooper can do other than maybe take a few players with him. It's a nice flick, but it's a drop in the bucket because he's not going to save the round. That much is for sure. I say that, actually. They keep pushing him, but there was no kit anyway. So although Fallen is going to be tagged down low, he still holds his ground, picks up the AWP for himself. Viz is there laid waiting with the M4. May very well get one, but it's not really an angle you're expecting to get more than one. And of course they check that because there's no gunfire coming from control room. The squeaky doors, decon, nothing. So why wouldn't they check that spot? And Triumph really struggling to get any kind of a foothold. Cooper's given them a brief opportunity, a glimmer of a dash of a hope. But now in come the Sharks, and Elige devours B. Will's hole. Insta headshot. He's on some madness right now. 25 frags to his name and showing no signs of slowing down.
He sort of got caught off by Sheikh Zula, but the second he started taking the game into his own hands, it's looked pretty much done. Marcinic, a parting gift, 1 kill. He's got to try and get away from the bomb, which he might be able to do. He's going to end up directly above it, but not take too much damage.
It does seem like they lack a bit of that X factor, you know. You're looking at a player like Elige, Naf, these kind of guys that can really come out. Grim's been having a great performance too. And Cynic at least will be plugging the first 2 players down before Fallen and Naf come straight back in. But the issue is, it doesn't feel like Triumph have that player that can like really take control over the game and just enforce his will on Liquid.
Oh, Stewie might be in a bit of trouble here. Throwing a flash, just not the best way to get out of that vent position, and actually Sheikh Zula has stepped up. It's left onto Elige though, and at this stage, honestly, it's hard to doubt him. He's been flashed off the angle, but gets a chance to take the jewel. Some damage done onto him. The bomb being tapped, he's actually going to use up almost his whole clip, but has the opportunity to reload, but they're on the bomb. He has to now do something about it. They walk in, he pulls out the Glock, he spams, but can't get anything. It will be Sheikh Zula again. We talk about impact, and this man,
he doesn't panic the second the flash comes through. He uses the smoke as a sanctuary and then plays around it and so nearly clutches out for his teammates.
Oh, no.
Cooper, 100 to 1 off a Molotov. He does get the leg, but he's down. What happened there?
I think that spread far further than he ever expected it to, and maybe a little bit more shallow than it would have been normally, but yeah, that's just a mistake that happens. And while I love it. I absolutely love it, especially after the last round where Shakezilla just sneaks his way up the vent and manages to kill off Stewie. But they have built up over time to give them a little bit extra going into the next round, but it's still not going to be pretty.
I just love these player cams, man, because if you look at Shakezula's face, that is the face of pure disgust.
Elige, he's looking for his 30 bomb. I think that's all there really is to talk about at this stage. 29 and 11. This CT side has been rough, and there it is, the 30th kill, but he does take a lot of damage in response. In all honesty, this has been one of the best starts we've seen, and jumping straight into the crosshair of Shakezilla. He's now left completely blind, but he will be able to retreat and has support in the form of Cooper. This is one of the weaker purchases we've seen from them as of recent, but it's going fairly well. However, Elige, okay, I thought he was actually going to get something there. Grim, again, trading. He's tagged low. Naf, the only healthy member, but 2 players are dropped. That could be it. It's left all on to Viz to try and clutch this out. A 1 versus 2, and Grim just decapitates him as they go past. It's almost a flawless T-side coming out from Liquid, Vince. And, well, it may have been a little bit rough to start, but they finished with style.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agreed with you on that one. Plus, Triumph. Yesterday, I believe they played against High Coast on this map, and both teams, their CT side struggled the most as well. So even in terms of yesterday, it was a bit of an awkward encounter. Now, all 10 players still alive with a post-plant on Bomb A. This does not happen very often at all. And in amongst all this chaos, Elige and Naf have carved themselves a path towards success, with Glock headshots delivered thick and fast. And B Will's try, as he may, has been sent packing. Of course, he was the player yesterday. It's a better position I would have been in.
I didn't say what country, though, so there you go.
Oh, yeah, crap. True. Viz, with the other Mag 7, is waiting in the smoke. There's a dink ahead of him that'll give him a sound cue. And he can hear the footsteps, but Grim is careful. However, his teammates are falling around him, down to a 2-on-4, with Naf putting the bullet to the head of Cynic. The bomb has been dropped out in the site. There's still 50 seconds to go, and now Grim is going to pick up the pace, shooting Cooper in the back. And although Naf is incredibly low, he can now use the mini pit as a bit of sanctuary. His teammates getting pressured and pushed into, but Grim holds the nerve and picks up both kills, salvaging the round for Liquid, which looked like it was slipping away. With both teams losing advantages, both teams coming back from deficits. Now Liquid, they've lost the first player. Shakezilla gets aggressive outside of the banana, but seeing no secondary player will allow his team to know what's coming up. Elige straight out with the entry onto Viz. Cynic will put one down. Additionally, another 1-for-1 trade. But now B Wills is forced back, tagged down to 5 HP. Does a fair bit of damage to fall in the process, but it's yet another clutch, another 2v2.
I want to mention as well, as Shakezilla obviously tries to get an exit or two, I don't know how many times we've seen it over the last day or so, where it's a 3v3 situation and just somebody on the CT side just tries to go all in on like a 1v3.
Yeah, it's nothing too spectacular, but it is effective, and it's forcing out utility from Triumph. If they want to stand and fight, they have to throw down flushes and smokes. As a result, Cynic at the back of the site had a great moment on Nuke, but he won't be able to replicate it. Teammates falling around him, and even though they did pick up a bit of a heroic last stand, there's still 13 seconds to get the bomb down. Has now been planted. Cooper and Viz move in. Viz still not off the mark with ADR or frags. Desperately wants to get involved. Cooper is basically watching banana. It feels like Triumph are already setting up for exits.
Yeah, I feel like it gets to the point where eventually you have to go for one of these rounds, because it's like, how many rounds realistically do you think that you're going to get on the T side versus Liquid? Because that's the number we're looking for. Like, even if you say something like 9, like it's getting to the stage where like, okay, do I genuinely think that Liquid won't get 10 here?
Yeah, this just looks so disjointed for me for Triumph. You see Viz peeking middle all by himself, and Elige basically deals with him. Shakezilla wants to get information, wants to try and get something back in terms of momentum, but it's just shut down instantly. Triumph are moving out one by one. Lack of cover for each other. And Cynic, he's been their standout player for me, are definitely up there, but there's only so much he can do by himself. It's going to be another post plant. It's going to be another round. And I completely agree, Tom. I would like to see a timeout called here. I'd like to see Triumph, and maybe this is telegraphed. Maybe this is obvious, but at this point, you've got to take Liquid out of their comfort zone. Liquid are just on autopilot. Like, this is too easy. This is looking so simple and straightforward. Call a timeout, play something aggressive, maybe try peeking down middle, push down banana, take the fight to Liquid. Because if you keep sitting back like this there's a very real possibility this goes 15-0. And although B Wills is getting some really nice extra frags with another one, at the end of the day, even if he picks up all 5, the money's fine for Liquid. It doesn't change the scoreline. You're still getting destroyed.
Oh.
Nice play from B Wills, but what does it mean, Tom? Basically nothing.
Passive angle. He's actually going to go back for a peek, but there is a player waiting. However, it's fallen, and he's not going to get anything there. So finally, an opening goes their way. The execution actually looking to come in with 3 players ready and waiting. The rotation, however, is going to be quite far away.
Oh, that's a good counter flash that completely destroyed Naf's eyes. He couldn't see anything. Viz now, different angle, but the same result. Down to the hands of Elige. Stewie now moving in. And B Wills nearly got the timing on that peak, but he won't be able to stop the bomb plant. Sheikh Zula joins him. Now moving through on arches. Stewie going for that peak, but deciding better of it on 95 HP, but his teammate Elige on 41. They can't really afford to lose a player right now, but Stewie using that angle perfectly, ripping off heads left and right, and it all falls down to B Wills, who comes out into the open, and Liquid have escaped again. 10-0. The style of Triumph against High Coast yesterday, they were way more passive, just giving up banana every single round. I suppose that shows the respect they have for Liquid. No one wants Execute to come in. They're going to be second best momentarily. The flashbang has connected on both players, and they clean up with Stewie on the 2K. Living up to his name, he's having a much better start to this map than Nuke. He's just running into sight and getting so much success. Only 1 kill in retaliation. It's Naf that's gone down to the hands of Cooper.
Methodical the utility being thrown from Liquid is. Like the early nade damage, sure, they took the brunt of it, but that, I think it was a single flash thrown through that smoke. Just ends the round. It's done. It's over. The second that flash connects onto both players, that they walk in and maybe you can get around. Unfortunately, yeah, Liquid a little bit more methodical than to fall into the fly trap. Nice nade. Fallen gonna catch that one in his pocket, but even still, the rotation's been caught off. They're definitely going to be going for this one. And B-Wills, it seems like he's got a bee in his bonnet. He wants to try and take the fight to them, just going straight through the smoke. Flashbang through, but Grim executes him as he makes it to the other side. Still, will continue to double key through, but Big Zilla, 1v3. Good luck.
Been cooked alive for the most part. And this has been a declaration from Liquid. You know, if there were any doubters, anyone thinking that they would slip and choke this tournament where they were the firm favorites coming into it, Stewie said himself he felt the same way.
No, it's bad when the only Triumph replay is 1 kill with a grenade.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the replay guy's like, come on, anything. Have we got something? Okay. Maybe we can replay this. They've got an advantage. They've done some damage to Fallen. This might be it. It's taken them a long time, but we might get a round for Triumph.
There's no quick rotational play in effect. So here come the grenades. He's going to be sat there. Shows how much confidence he has and the ability of his 2 teammates to crack open his sight between the 2 of them and allows him to go for that later flank round the back. Now, he's been caught in transition. That may throw a wrench in the works for any fast rotational play because they're still very much sacrificing onto the site. Now, Stewie is still alive, still kicking and still taking some frags down, running out of ammunition, just 1 bullet left in the magazine, and Cynic puts him down and Triumph finally have a round. Cooper will be okay behind that Molotov and actually peeks out. It didn't extend enough to get any sound cues about that, but now another Molotov down behind there. Smoke allows him safe passage to escape, keep himself alive, keep that player advantage in effect for Triumph, and maybe they are going to end in strong fashion, posting up 2 rounds back-to-back. Grim tagged down, but still alive before Viz just protrudes around the edge of the smoke on the periphery and is putting down more pain. Another kill goes to Viz. Great to see him get in amongst the action towards the end of the half, but Grim and Fallen still remain for Liquid.
Fallen, you mentioned him not having much to do, but it's not going to be enough for the 1 versus 4. It has been dominant from Liquid. However, Vince, it looks like Stewie might be about to come under a fair bit of pressure.
Oh, smoke criminal for a reason. Through the smoke into the head of Cynic, and he will be looking for more. Doesn't get it though. Cooper wraps around the back of him. Now, to be a bit more optimistic, Triumph looked far better on their T side yesterday against High Coast than their CT side. And the same could have been said for Nuke just a few moments ago. So maybe this is where they really start to come alive. Grim puts the bullet down range onto B. Wills, and there is the successful pistol we were looking for. Try and pick it up, saving 3 players in the process.
Yeah, the fact that he can put up numbers against a team that they should not even be close to beating is not a bad sign for matches to come. Stewie trying to use the fountain. I think the player on the other side would have been quite frustrated if he got away with that. And actually, is Grim going to get away with an egg here? No, he's not. Viz, good timing. It's only a Galil loss, not really the end of the world. But now, he's got the only one in hand. 30 seconds up are coming on the clock, and the execution about to begin. Grim, good spot. And actually, well, who's going to expect the Liege to be there as well? He drops back, takes a second name. Stewie's rotated in, but they might be able to isolate him. And actually now there's a real chance for Triumph, as they will get the plant.
Plant down 2-on-2. Both teams have identical firepower. 1 AWP apiece, 1 AK apiece. A smoke for Liquid, but that lack of kit is starting to become a bit more of an issue. This will force Liquid's hand to play a bit more aggressively. In doing so, one corner may go unchecked. Fallen having none of it. That experience shining through, and now Cynic, who has been the pick of the bunch, goes down to Naf. And there should be enough time for the defuse. They got there just in the nick of time, and although Triumph had their chance, it has slipped away, and with it, maybe the map will follow. 20 seconds, smoke comes down, flash behind it. Liege lining up the incendiary. They're going to have to push through the fire and the flames if they want to get to the site, and in doing so, the white swing comes in, but it's all going the way of Triumph. They've held their nerve, held their resolve, no more players to deal with them, and even though time is scarce, there's more than enough time for the bomb plant. The Triumph keep pressing forward 1 round at a time, keep Liquid's economy down in the dirt, and who knows, maybe you can pull this fully back.
I think as well, it might just be my perspective rather than others. I feel like when you get a completely new team
to kick things off, it was 13-1. You saw smiles. You know, you saw players relieved. They weren't taking it at the end of the world. They know that it's still early on in this progress. Sheikh Zula, speaking of the man that was cracking open many a time on Nuke, he's came out with 2 quick fire frags, and in doing so, they can wrap around onto the A site. It's Grim alone. The timing on that weapon switch could not have been worse. And to add insult to injury, B Wills back towards T spawn on the ramp has suppressed 1 before he is counted by Naf. This was a fully invested round, and Liquid will be losing it again. So try for getting into that kind of territory now, where they're beginning to ask a few questions of Liquid. Don't get me wrong, Liquid still are the massive favorites to convert this map and make it theirs. But considering at one point it was 13-0.
Potentially someone to be close around it, but all this has really done is given info over to Stewie, and with the time ticking away, they really do have to get a move on.
There's very little room for error here, but some great utility toss towards the back of the pit. Liege now pivoting around 2 excellent headshots. 14 seconds. Grim just needs to get 1 kill. That may be good enough, but Cooper is up to the task, and he obliterates the head. 2v2 retake, but Fallen needs to catch up to Naf, who's already made a move into the alcove. Bit of an awkward position. Only 2 flashes between the 2 of them, and B Will's peeking out. And this is an audacious peek, considering that you're against an AWPer of Fallen, but still gets away with it, doubles up, and Triumph have hit the double digits. They fall back into position. Viz with a good spot. Spotted the first player crossing. That'll be information relayed to the rest of his teammates who are making moves up middle. Flash proceeds to push, but Alicia's aim on point for the first. Grim misses out. It was a FAMAS, but still, he's got to get that secondary frag. And now Stewie is stuck on the site alone. 2 weakened targets to potentially finish off, but he gets pre-fired round the corner. And in doing so, it's another post plant.
His teammate probably would have got both kills. Instead, advantageous positions are now starting to slip away from Liquid. A 5v4, another kill coming in as they push into mid.
Minimal damage inflicted to both teams. That is a dunk of a grenade, though. B Wills dropped to 3 HP instantly, and now they're going to look for a boost behind it. There's a player still up close to that smoke. If Sheikh Zula times this correctly, he'll have both players, and the leaning tower of CTs has been toppled. And in doing so, they're hemorrhaging players once more. Now, they may not anticipate the 3rd player to be over here, so maybe Naf gets the drop as a result of having that surprise factor, but he doesn't realize there's a player up close. He gets caught with the smoke. What the hell is going on, Triumph? How's Naf survived that?
Oh, he did so well to get 2 kills, but then Shake Zilla, what just happened? I think he was surprised as Naf was to find someone in that smoke, but Cooper has been given a chance. Elige is going to go pushing, though the timing's not going to give him anything, but what? Now Elige misses as well. This round is falling apart completely, and Grim is left to try and save it. He's wrapped around through Banana. Incendiary thrown over will clear one angle, but Cooper's just waiting. He's holding. A single bullet will do the trick, but he's not quite going to get it. A roller coaster of a round, and Liquid, well, it's a sigh of relief. And it doesn't quite go his way. Now, this could be the end, but the fact is, the money isn't great for Liquid. They've already used nearly all of their utility. 2 flashbangs and Fallen. It's going to burn down low. It is still the kill to come in first onto Viz, but we know that thus far Triumph have been great at fighting these rounds back.
Elige will get the timing peak though with a FAMAS. That's the bomb that drops down alongside Shake Zula. Double stack in pit will be a difficult crossfire to contend with, but Cynic on 24 frags, make that 25. He's got to try and pull this one out the embers. B Wills, last man standing, 1v3, 20 HP to his name, bombed down in an awkward position. And this could be a devastating blow for Triumph. They've battled back. They've been so heroic, shown so much grit and tenacity, but it may be for naught. He's waiting for a peak to come through, but he has to take the initiative here, Tom. He's only got 20 seconds to play with.
There's no time. Like, what can he do here? You need to turn on a spin bot, but hey, that's not a bad start. First kill goes his way, but it won't be enough. We were talking about the dominant side of Liquid, but let's be real. Towards that second half, the only Liquid we saw was Sweat, because that was ridiculously close towards the end. Like, the fact that they were 13-0 up and this ends 16-11.